Welcome to Audible Stories, The Way of the World. Once upon a time, a young foolish man went out into the world to find a job or any kind of work or whatever he could find. The first night he lay down on the cold ground and fell fast asleep. When he awoke, he discovered to his amazement a hole in the ground beside him. When he looked into the hole, he found a big leather bag. When he opened it, he discovered hundreds of gold coins in it. He had never seen so many coins, and he wondered what to do. And so he sat and ate his bread and thought. Thinking about the gold coins made him think of rich people, and thinking of rich people made him think of the king. "I'll take this money to the king, for this is his land and maybe this gold coins belong to him," he said. So he set off for the palace. Soon he came to a wide river where he boarded a ferry. As he traveled, he told everyone on board about his found gold. "You see, I am not wise in the ways of the world," he said. "And so I'm off to see the king. I hear the king says every coin in the realm belongs to him." The people smirked when they heard the fool's tale, and when his back was turned, they reached into his bag and stole all the gold coins. In their place they put their belongings so that he would not feel the bag growing lighter. They put some garbage like old combs and rusted pocket knives and apple cores and broken pottery and stones inside the bag. But the man was a fool, and like he always said, he was not wise in the way of the world, never noticed. When the ferry landed, he went to see the king. "I've come to give you a bag full of gold coin," he said to the king. The king could not believe his ears. Everyone came to the palace to ask the king for money, but here was a first man offering to give gold coin to the king. The king smiled and opened his bag, and he howled with fury when he saw the knives and pottery and apple cores and other garbage items in the bag. Seeing this, the king's men dragged the foolish man outside. "Oh," he sighed, "you see, I am not wise in the ways of the world. Please tell me, what should I have said and bought to the king?" "You ought to get a bag of gold coin and should have said, you were sorry for the waste of time." He nodded and walked on. Soon he came to a farmer who stood leaning on his hoe over his field. He was exhausted from planting a huge field with cabbage seed. He looked at the field and said to the farmer, "Sorry for the waste of time." The farmer was furious and raised his hoe, ready to hit the foolish man. "I am not wise in the ways of the world," he cried. "Please tell me what I should have said." "You should have said, 'May everything you plant grow into cabbages,'" the farmer said. He nodded and went on his way. Before long he came to a graveyard where a man was being buried. "May everything you plant grow into cabbages," he called to the mourners. They turned on him, ready to punish him. "What should I have said?" he asked worriedly. "You should have said the only happiness in life is death," said the mourners. So he went on his way, memorizing his new line. Before long he came to a church, and there he saw a bride and groom. "The only happiness in life is death," he called, and the groom became very angry and threatened him with his fists. "What should I have said?" he asked innocently. "You should have said, 'May you have many children.'" And so he walked along, remembering what he should have said. When he passed two priests on the road, he waved to them and called, "May you have many children." The priests turned on him. "Fool," they cried. "Priests do not marry or have children. Don't you know that?" And they told him again what a terrible fool he was. The foolish man was mystified and tired. He could not imagine what he would do, or how he ever would learn to be wise in the ways of the world. He decided he would take a nap. While he was sleeping, a big black bear crept near him, and just then he woke. He could not imagine what the bear wanted. He thought that the bear had come to teach him the way of the world and he was in a school of the wise world, but he thought he might like some entertainment. And so he reached into his pouch and pulled out a bell. He began to ring the bell as loudly as he could, like they do in a school when the class is done. The bear turned and ran away, and he stood and chased after him. "Perhaps a bear can definitely teach me the ways of the world," he thought, and he ran as fast as he could. But when he reached closer to the bear, he saw that he was busy chasing 3 other men. As these men raced down away, gold coins fell from their pockets, their socks and their hats. The 3 men, you see, were among the people who had met him on the ferry. He stopped and stared as the bear chased the men far away. He saw the gold coins lying in the paths and then he once again remembered the king. He picked up the gold coins, one after another. He put these in his pockets, his hat and socks and shoes, and set off for the palace once again. When he reached the gates, the servants cried angrily, "What do you want now?" "I've come to bring gold coin to the king," he said. But when the servants told the king about his visitor, the king threw up his hands in exasperation. "He's a foolish man. Tell him to keep his gold coin or I'll throw him in prison. Tell him that from now on, whatever he finds he must keep." He did as he was told. He carried his gold coin back home and lived happily ever after, though he often wondered how he might become wise in the ways of the world. If you like the story, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you for listening.